as the Israeli cabinet discusses a financial stimulus bailout program that will inject millions of shekels into the economy. Elah Alkalay, Vice President of Business Development at the Israel Brokerage and Investments company, took time out from her busy schedule to discuss with InfoLive TV the impact of the global financial crisis in Israel.
IBI stands for Israel Brokerage and Investments. We are both a brokerage firm specializing in the Israeli stock market and also an asset manager. We've been around for quite a while, since the early 70s actually, so we're quite established and probably amongst the five largest corporates on the Israeli financial markets. Israel's economy is not Gibraltar. It's not unconnected to other economies. Obviously, if there is an economic slowdown both in Europe and in the United States, we will gradually import this, and this is already a process that's happening.
The diversity of Israel's economy is perhaps Israel's saving grace in the current global crisis, she says.
Another important factor regarding the Israeli economy is the fact that it's pretty diverse. We have quite a few international companies. Some of them will probably not be affected as dramatically by this economic crisis, global economic crisis. For instance, Teva Pharmaceuticals, which is a generic pharmaceutical company, and actually generics are very likely to do better in a time of economic slowdown than in the time of prosper. People will be more inclined to buy cheaper drugs than they are to go and find the original in a time where they have less money. Israel's defense industry is also likely to do better than other defense industries globally because most of what it does, because of the high technology used, helps reduce costs rather than increase defense costs. Also, if you look at the Israeli banking system, the prices of the Israeli banks have declined, as banks have all over the world, but the banks here are way more stable than other banks, given that they were not part of the party previously. Other sectors that are likely to do not too bad globally are industries like Ormat. Ormat is a company that focuses on geothermal energy, and given the U.S. wanting to invest more in clean energy, geothermal energy definitely answers to that criteria and is probably very likely to do well over the next couple of years.
Real estate in Israel will also be affected by the economic crisis, and prices are expected to decrease, Alkalay says.
Real estate in Israel will probably be affected. People postpone buying real estate in times of economic crisis. Definitely, if it's totally unknown how long this crisis will continue. So it's very likely to assume that prices will go down. The thing in Israel is, though, that there was very, very little building going on, both for office space and also for residential. So there is a shortage in housing, actually. So yes, prices will go down. How dramatically will they go down? Especially if the economy actually ends up growing 2% next year, or even if it grows 1%, we think that it will not go down as dramatically as it has, certainly not in places like London or New York.
The aim of the economic stimulus package being discussed in the cabinet is to inject funds into the system, says Alkalay.
First of all, to increase the availability of money for the market through the banks. So they're going to use the banking system to make funds available to corporate Israel, so that the slowdown is not as difficult as it could be if money does not continue to flow throughout the system. So that is one issue they will definitely attend to, and they're still debating, the intricacies of this plan, but the basics are there. The other major issue is the issue of corporate bonds. Corporate bond market in Israel is a new market relatively. It's been around for probably 2-3 years. Previously to that, it was a very sleepy market. So the market has greatly expanded over the last 2-3 years, and it's not a very efficient market. And I think that what the Treasury is thinking of doing is helping to make this market more efficient.
Summing up the situation on a positive note, Alkalay insists that Israel is likely to be affected mildly by the economic global crisis compared to other countries in the world who are suffering greatly from the current situation.
In general, Israel's economy is relatively a stable economy over the last 4 to 5 years. Certainly has been showing very nice growth of 4 to 5%. And I think we're very lucky to have entered this crisis coming from a very strong position. Even the more pessimists are looking at 1% growth next year. So we're still not looking at a recession like other economies are looking at. We're still looking at a growing economy, though at a very, very low rate. So actually, we're not looking at a very promising time, but relative to other economies, we think that the gloom here is mild.